Yes, there you are. I've conveniently forgotten about the perils of what it's like to have hair.
Yeah.
Yes. I am. It was rough in my 20s going through the idea of like losing my hair, especially being somebody like on stage with a microphone.
Yeah.
There was this really exceptionally brutal period of my life where I've always played a lot of shows and people take photos at shows and post them online. And there was like I could see like my hairline starting to recede through photographs that other people were posting online. It was tough.
Oh man, like a week.
I mean, it was over the course of, some time, a couple years. And then like, I remember like somebody like left a comment. Like, I don't think they were trying to like make me feel bad, but they kind of called me out on it. And I was like, damn, it's a tough game. I've always been a little, I think that like, it's kind of natural whenever you're playing shows, like the older that you get, the less people there are your age still in the scene. Yep. You know what I mean? Like, so you're kind of always around younger people. And there was like this time frame where it was just like, yeah, of course, like all these, I'm like, 24, my hair's falling out and like I'm getting burned by these like 18, 19-year-old kids that know me. And I'm like, you just fucking wait, buddy.
Yep. It's coming for you too.
Yeah.
Young man.
Absolutely.
Young woman.
Yeah. Young soul, whatever. But hey, we're just rocking and rolling here. We're recording. We're going live. I'm very nonchalant about this whole situation that we got here.
Great.
I'm trying to think about what is interesting about being a musician, what is interesting about being an artist, and nothing really. It's just what's interesting about being a person.
Yeah.
The human experience is what's interesting.
Yeah.
And one thing that I think that we tend to forget or get neglected or get sheltered from a deficit of actual human interaction when we decide to enter this world of art and music and being around, the egos and the attitudes and all the stuff that makes rock and roll great also makes it somewhat isolating sometimes for some people.
Yeah, for sure.
And André Costello is on the show, by the way, everybody.
Hello.
And this is your time. We're returning. This is our first face-to-face episode here.
Yeah.
You were on during the times when we were doing live streams, when people were more talking to each other over the internet instead of in person. But here we are. We're in the real world again, baby. We are playing shows. We're releasing music. We're doing all sorts of things.
Yeah, it's great.
And for anybody out there that is not familiar with you and what you do, what is like what's the pitch if this was a job interview to get hired, Andre?
Well, I'm just like an active music creator, I guess, and so I have a lot of songs that I need to get out, so I do. I like kind of record them as I can, and they end up being a part of either Forestry Division, which is my main band. It used to be called André Costello and the Coal Miners, which is also my main band. And then side project called André Costello.
Yeah.
and then Tomorrow Club is the other side project. And so I just keep creating. I'll come out with stuff in either one of those categories. And
yeah. I find that we are kind of birds of a feather in that regard, because in much of a similar situation, my like main baby band is a band called Normal Creatures that used to be called Sykes and the New Violence.
Oh yeah.
So we both traded a me and the band for like the band as a whole thing. And I'm curious if it was for the same reason. For me, it started as like these songs that I was writing, and I kind of got some hired guns in to kind of learn the songs, but then we started writing songs together. And over time, it kind of felt weird to be like, oh, this is me and you when it's actually us. Yeah. Was that like what happened with Forestry Division?
Yeah, the hired guns became my friends. Now they were already my friends. As soon as they said, yeah, I'll play the show, I'll learn the songs. And Yeah, and it's still like I bring the songs, to the table for the most part, but like we're trying to open that up a little bit, make it a little more democratic, even more. It's always been a goal to make it more and more democratic. And as we've grown, two full albums with the Cool Miners, and then put out our first full length as Forestry Division this year. It's getting more and more collaborative.
Yeah.
And so like the bandmates are having more and more of a mark on the song that it becomes.
Yeah.
And it's very exciting to have an idea that is hard at first, because it's something to get used to for sure. Because you have a song at first that like is an idea, and you hear what you think it's going to be, try to communicate that to the group, and they'll be like, let's do this with it and take it in a different direction that I would have never thought of. And that's the amazing part of it once you're open to that.
Sure.
Otherwise it can be like, no, that's not what I want.
Yeah.
It can be that way.
It's hard
at the
learning.
right time, but to answer your question,
Yeah.
to get my damn name out of the band name is great. Also, André Costello and the Cool Miners. It's like a triple entendre, quadruple entendre. And it's fantastic to not have to say that name to people, but people, can you swear?
Yeah.
People fuck up the name still. I'll be like, Forestry Division, and they're like, Foresty what?
There was never a time when somebody was like, what's the name of your band? And I said Sykes in the New Violence, that they weren't like, what?
Yeah, right.
It's a weird string of words to put together.
Mm-hmm. That can sit in your head and be like, oh, there's something wrong with this name. Make it, one day I'm going to change it for this reason. It's kind of that way with the Cool Miners.
Yeah, I just like wanted to get, it was about like, definitely like me just wanting to have my name off of it. Like it is my band, but it doesn't have to be like me. Give credit to the band as a whole, something that's easier to remember, more marketable if you want to get all brand talky and things like that. But like I totally feel you in regards to the idea of like you start out with these songs, because in addition to having Normal Creatures, I also have like solo music that I do and music with other projects. And it's like when I sit down to start a song, it's never like, oh, I want to start something specifically for A, B, or C.
Right.
It just kind of happens. And it's always interesting figuring out like why I choose to like decide what project is going to go to what song. Like sometimes it could be like, oh, like this just sounds like a Normal Creature song.
Yeah.
Or sometimes it could be like, maybe I'm just not smart enough to figure out what this needs.
Yeah.
But I've brought these people on board that now I actually trust and that I think have like a lot of really cool ideas. And also once you start working with people, you start to maybe even like write songs knowing their musical characteristics and what they could potentially contribute to it.
Yeah.
Like that's a big thing with me, especially like working with my guitar player, Evan, who funnily enough is also in Greywalker with me. So we play in two very different projects, but he's a very versatile player. But I could think now, and like when I'm starting something, just like, oh, like I know that Evan could like really bring something super melodic and nuanced to this that I could never do on a synthesizer.
Yeah.
You know,
you're like a film director that has like his key actors. Like you just, when you're coming up with the movie, you come up with the ideas, make a part for the actor. Yeah.
Totally.
I think there's some parallels there.
Yeah. And with the other project, your third project, Tomorrow Club, what is the focus or style of that? Because that's actually the one that I'm the least familiar with.
I think that one has ended up being unfiltered. Just it's me. So it's like, I think that one. So basically, whenever I'm creating, if I'm doing demos like at home that have it's more than just a voice memo. I'm not ruling out a voice memo being a Tomorrow Club song, but your home garage band, which I use Logic, but like your home recordings, whenever they get to a point where I have the really strong demo-itis where I don't want it changed, and I'm like, this is how it goes now, I'm not going to release it as a Forestry Division song.
Gotcha.
I just release it as Tomorrow Club. It feels like it has anonymity to it. I really honestly should just call it André Costello. That's what I should have done from the beginning. I think it's too many band names.
Yes.
And then I'm working on an album with my friend Anthony from Youngstown. And it's more and I'm calling it André Costello. I wanted to call it André Costello from the beginning because it's my songs, but like Anthony working with him, it's going in directions that I wouldn't do it. And it's not an unfiltered Andre. And that's what Tomorrow Club is. So it's really, honestly, it's always in flux, but that's the base, the base of it. Yeah. We'll see what happens with any of it. Like it could be completely different. It could evolve. I'm trying to narrow down how it's different, but the album that's out that is called Tomorrow Club, that is just me with collaboration with Jake Hanner. He played drums on a couple songs remotely, and but I did all the mixing and editing and everything. And so I think that's the main gist of Tomorrow Club is that I'm doing the production.
Do you feel like there is like a stylistic difference at all between what might be a Tomorrow Club song or an André Costello song or Forestry Division?
Yeah, I in my head, André Costello is more of a folk thing.
Yeah,
like
more minimal in a way. It's like less instrumentation, less instruments. That kind of folky? Is it more like singer-songwritery?
Yeah, let's say.
And maybe Tomorrow Club's more like
more song oriented,
like song format, less.
Tomorrow Club's more space, more spacey, more like
atmospheric.
Yeah,
experimental.
But it has acoustic songs on it. It has so it's the full gamut. But like in my head, it's more of like a dreamy thing, and then André Costello is like, like an old vinyl with my picture, a picture of my face on the cover, like John Denver.
Totally.
But not John Denver.
Sure. Well, okay, maybe like
it's John Denver, sure.
I don't know, like a David Bowie or something.
Yeah.
Right? Like
Bob Dylan.
Bob Dylan, sure. Yeah. Like these are all classic songwriters that have transcended being pinned down to any sort of particular genre and have done all sorts of things.
Yeah.
I feel like, I wonder how much of this is like modern culture and like the idea of needing to like brand yourself and also maybe wanting to remove like yourself from yourself. Yeah. So it's like, oh, this is Tomorrow Club. It's not me, but it really is me.
Yeah.
Or, like I feel like I deal with that a lot. It's not necessarily an identity crisis or anything, but it's like hard for me to, as much as I'm like, I write songs for me, but I record them because I want other people to hear them. Otherwise, what's the point?
Yeah.
So it's not all about me. I kind of want people to know who I am, but also I can't be like, I'm very like sheltered in a way. Like for the longest time, a big thing with like Sykes and the New Violence was like, Sykes was like a rap name that I adopted when I was like 19. Mm-hmm. And like, I'm 38 now.
Pretty cool name.
Yeah. I've lived literally double my life since then. And it's like, it's fine, but I don't necessarily want people to call me that. Yeah. I never introduce myself like, oh, hey, Andre, I'm Sykes. Nice to meet you. You know what I mean? Like, I don't do that. I would be at shows and people would be like, oh, hey, like I'm MC Plant. And I'd be like, oh, hey, I'm Brian. They're like, oh, cool. Like you playing? And it's like, oh yeah, I'm Sykes. And they're like, oh, okay, you're Sykes. Like all the time. And that's like not the smartest idea, but that's just like what I feel comfortable with. So like, I think like putting some sort of anonymity behind it and not having it with my name makes me feel better. But simultaneously, I did record and release a solo album under my name this past year. Yeah. So there's still some urge to do it, but it's like, at the same time, it feels goofy to just come up with like a name to put my music out under. Like I could come up with reasons for why I like or don't like both things. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I just think too much.
Yeah.
Just put out the music, man.
No, that's good. That's an artist thing to do. I'm looking around here. This place is quite organized. And so, so I see a little bit of compulsive, I don't want to call it disorder because it's very orderly. And it's very like functional and like people call it OCD playfully, but like there's a functionality. There's a way that you can be super retentive.
Yeah, I think
and it's good for you. Like,
I'm like an unfortunately detailed oriented person, and it's certainly done me a lot of favors.
Visual designer at all?
Yes.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. So I think about like when I'm thinking about something, it's never just like one thing. Like, I guess like keeping it on like the topic of songwriting, like I can never just think about the song.
Yeah.
There's always a bigger picture to it.
Yeah. It's a challenge to chase the part that's fun and be able to move on that and get that joy and that creative, exploit that creative moment. And then you have to know whenever you have to do the work, and you have to also be organized about that part. And I haven't done that yet. It's always just like free time, like whatever you hear is like me jumping from thing to thing, whatever gets finished just by chance. What I'm going to try to do is I have a notebook, and each page is going to be a song. And I'm actually going to write like what needs to be done on each damn song.
Sure.
And I'm going to work that way. It's going to be a challenge for me. I have a studio in my basement now, and I've got like some really cool things that I'm working on. And I think mainly I'm tired of working with different names and things, different brands. I might like find a way to merge Tomorrow Club and André Costello, or just start fucking calling it all André Costello and just not caring. Albums, bands, the good ones, the famous ones, they sound like the same band each album, but they explore and they change and they change. I don't know. My stuff changes. Yeah. I change. I don't think anything matters anymore. So as long as you're just doing it, then it's good.
Yeah.
But I don't think I'm going to be punished for doing things like, I don't know, but having an album that doesn't sound like the last album.
No. No, I think that like the only way to like, the world doesn't need any more art. I think we're good. Yeah. Right. So it's like, if you're going to be adding noise to the conversation, it needs to be at least genuine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I wasn't sure where you're going with that.
So it's good. Like, if it's just a reflection of you and a genuine, like, this is like where I am now in my life. And I'm going to share this with the people that are in my surrounding area. And if it resonates with them, it's going to go past them. Maybe it'll somehow through them, maybe sharing it or talking about it, osmosis. That's how things spread. Yeah. But I feel like it just has to come from like that genuine place. Yeah. Because that's like, again, going back to the beginning of this conversation, kind of like, we get caught in these bubbles about being an artist, and like we kind of forget about being human. And I think it's like really easy to overthink all these things and forget about like the human elements of songwriting and like a conversation between you and the listener, and having something that they can actually, that you connect with, and then that they can also connect with.
Yeah, right.
It's difficult to do. It's like a very like vulnerable thing. But if you try to like, that like there's that fine line of like, you're writing a song and you're telling a story, but you don't want to like manufacture something or make something that's like artificial, because I think that most people will see through that. And maybe it's a cool song, but the things that stick in your gut, like I've had plenty of like songs that maybe aren't that good that stick with me, but they're like still real.
Right.
Yeah. What it's like, I think I'm more focused on like, does something need to be like good or bad? Like, it doesn't really matter. I think it just needs to be like real.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it can be. Yeah, and honestly, like I'm at a point where, like whatever comes out, like I just have to go with it. Like I don't have. I'm trying to free myself of any sort of like self-judgment when I'm in a creative process, and just kind of make it happen. Use like intuition or like something to guide me. Like I don't know if it's like thinking about somebody or someone. That means that's the same thing, somebody or someone. If I'm thinking about somebody, or something, or an experience or a feeling, and letting that be the guide, that be the beacon that I'm heading towards. But what happens is other things, it's like a lot like meditation, other things will stand in the way. It'll come up, it'll like something will hinder it. I'll think of another someone or another something, and that'll interrupt it. That'll interrupt the flow.
Sure.
Some of my best favorite songs, I just had a flow, and I sat down to demo and like had the idea, just started playing it, hit record, and all the lyrics, all the chords, everything just came out in one sitting.
Totally.
As opposed to, gibberish tracks that I do also when I'm creating to find out like what's the best, how many syllables can fit into this melodic phrase.
I was gonna say that's actually one of the things that messes me up the most when I'm trying to tell a genuine story, is because logistically I'm still thinking like, well, this is a song, and I'm typically a music first, and then I try to get the words to fit the music. Mm-hmm. It's never the flip for me,
right?
But so I get locked into like, it needs to be this vocal pattern. It needs to be this cadence. And if I can't find the words, I start finding myself, well, maybe if I shift the narrative of my story, these words can work. And then now it's not like my story anymore. Now I'm fabricating.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And it's tough. But I mean, I've had similar moments. There's one song in particular that I remember I wrote in maybe about 25 minutes in the Beehive, when the Beehive was still open in the South Side, on my laptop. I made a little beat and I like wrote out all the words, and it was like about a certain someone.
Yeah.
And like, in like a situation that a lot of people were familiar with. And like to this day, like I still have people that have like brought up like, you remember when you wrote that song about so-and-so? And like, I've always been like, it's not about them, like very, but like it is. It was just, it like really stuck. But just like in that moment in time, in that place, like I was like, locked in, and everything worked. It had all the right cadence and syllable, everything.
Yeah.
And it's like, damn, but those things don't happen all the time.
No, they don't. They don't.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to work.
Totally.
Yeah.
And, sometimes I find that there's a song actually on the newest Normal Creatures record that I think that as a band, we're on our fourth complete different version of it. And like, it was one of those things where I was trying to tell this story with the song very specific. And I got so locked into needing to tell this specific story about this certain thing that it was like, okay, well, we need to change the music because it needs to be more of this, more of this, more of this. And like, I finally just got to the point where it's like, I think that maybe this story just isn't meant to be told. So I think that like, I like where the music's at with this. I think I'm just going to rewrite. I need to just clear my brain, because like we've overworked the dough here. And like lyrically, it's just not feeling right, and like just like so many different variations of it. But I think it's like, I like the process. It's fun.
Yeah.
And like, I'm like happy knowing that like, hey, like, we're trying to like care. We want to put out like this cool thing, but it just like sucks when it doesn't work. And you have those songs that come together really quick.
Yeah. I like, and what I've accepted about myself and my songwriting is that the lyrics and stuff I don't want to say they're very interpretable, but they're not so specific that like it tells you a specific story or something, it's like, and it's like maybe a shortcoming and a strength of mine as a songwriter. So it's like impressionist in a way. And I think that's kind of cool. If you look at an impressionist painting, it's like maybe perceived as blurry, but then you stand back and then you make out the image. If you look at it too closely, you're like, what am I looking at? But then, so that's how I've accepted the the way that I write, is that it's like an impressionist painting.
Yeah, I find that it's one of the things that I try to avoid these days with writing is just like writing from too personal of a perspective. I find that it's good to tell. I mean, you want to write from the heart or whatever, but also like there's just some things that you shouldn't say or share. I think when I was
Yeah.
younger, I was maybe a little bit too transparent, I suppose. And I had the Pittsburgh City paper once reviewed an album of mine, and they said it was painfully self-deprecating.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, I put it on the front of the album.
Yeah,
I put it on the sticker, but it was just like it was just like at the same time, it was like in hindsight, it's like okay, maybe. I mean, okay, but that's a reflection of who I was when I was like 24 or however old I was when I did those songs. But it's funny, and like I learned from that.
Right.
It's like the only way to like learn how to like do anything is to like do it and like either like swing and miss, right? Or maybe sometimes you hit and it just doesn't quite go as far as you're thinking.
Luckily, my meaning is all just hidden in like layers of what you could call poetry if you want to call it poetry, if you think it's deserving of such a title. So yeah, it's all, if anything personal is in there, it's just buried.
Yeah,
it's buried in just confusion.
Yeah, it's
layers.
It's interesting to be in a position when like you put all of this time and thought into like these words and these songs, and then like you're sharing them with like friends or family. And like what is like your experience in terms of like just like having conversations with friends or family about art? Do you get those like, so what's this song about type of conversations and things like that? And like, how do you navigate those? Because personally, I'm not a big fan of having these conversations about like what something's about.
I'm lucky that none of my friends are interested in or family is interested in my art or music. Yet still, I text everybody I know or all of my friends, and I'm like, hey, the show's coming up. I would like it if you came.
Yes.
And they do not come. So we don't really have any discussions. There will be an occasional one person will be stoned and listen to something finally, and they'll be like, holy shit, was Andre in a good band? Wow, I can't believe one of us did it. And like, I'm like, cool. Thank you. That does mean a lot to me. But yeah, there's not very many, there's not many conversations with, that I have about my music or like the meaning of a song. I would probably could have conversations like that. I would probably enjoy that. But yeah, your question was like, do you talk about
like how do you navigate like when if that stuff sort of comes up? But I mean I'm kind of like in a similar situation to you where it's like I don't like have like a big family that I talk to or see on the holidays and things like that, and like the people that I do navigate with like in that realm, like outside of my dad, like my dad has like come to see Gray Walker play because he's like an old school metalhead and he's into it, and like he'll have fun and come out, but he's not like, I don't think that he's interested in what any song's about. I think he's just like, he's just there to headbang, but it's just like,
I got to share one of my songs with my family in Florida. Was there for a holiday. I think it was 2 Christmases ago, perhaps, maybe 2 Easters. It was one of the holidays. And it was a song that I wrote whenever I was in Italy, when I my wife and I were there, and I came down with COVID. We were only like 4 or 5 days into our trip there, and we were on like a tour bus, and so we had to notify people, and then we were forced to do like a mandatory isolation, and it ended up being 14 days, and you being locked in like a pretty small hotel room with like a nauseatingly simple, like minimalist design.
I think I remember seeing you had like post some photos and things from that time, right?
Yeah. It was beautiful and terrible.
It's a unique situation.
My mother passed away like 10 days into it.
Oh wow.
And just had to stay. Couldn't get out.
Yeah.
So she just passed away here in Pennsylvania. And we were stuck in Bari, Italy. In a
we're fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was stuck in a hotel that Mussolini had built, and it was just like it was this design thing that was. Is it still rolling?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay. It was this design thing he called rationalism. So you'll see, and he built these buildings all out of stone, but like from his time there, a lot of like the office buildings and like things built at that time were this way. And so it was this strip along the ocean with breakers, and it used to be all old towns. And he wanted this to be a shipping, like a big shipping area, basically like its southeast coast location. And so he destroyed, took down like what he thought of as like tenements, like but they were just like probably beautiful, historic, old Italian streets. Like got rid of them and built like this straight line of like a sort of like highway road down the front on the coast there, and then like a big nice hotel, a big nice like administrative building, and just like kind of did that like the whole way down the coast. And they were big enough that they hid the neighborhood behind it, so that like if you're coming up on the coast, you'd be like, oh wow, look at this place.
Yeah, okay.
So we're stuck in this hotel, and the view outside, there was a balcony, but it was with like 2 floors up, and so it was like a 25-foot drop to like a little concrete it's like a courtyard that led out to this like simple. It was just like you had 2 planes of stone on the left, one on the left, one on the right, and then they jut out like this, and they left this little narrow gap where you could see the straight line of the ocean, straight line of a breaker, straight line of the road. And it was just that plain, just line and texture and like muted color, because it was like kind of gray that time of year, just stuck in there. But I was thinking about, it was a Sunday, and I was thinking about how I'm in Italy, and all I wanted was not Italian food. I wanted, but not wings and burgers, but I wanted Italian American food like my nanny would have made. And so like, like a American fried chicken, red sauce on like a penne, or like peas like over fried with onions, like Italian bread, American Italian bread that you get at Giant Eagle, like just butter like spread on there. You know what I mean? Like your standard, maybe like a Coke or something. But I was thinking about that, and so I made this song that is just, it sounds like an old Italian American, one of those old ones from like the 50s, like a, not quite like a Sinatra, but it's out of the same vein. Like it's kind of hokey,
sure,
but it's fun and it's enjoyable. And so I played that. I told a much shorter story for my family. Made it more about my nanny, who they all knew, and some of them didn't. Some of the youngest. And so I played the song for them, and it was the cutest thing. And so they all got quiet and they listened. And whenever I finished, like one little cousin was out playing, and she was singing. You could hear her singing the song after I was done. It was adorable. But that's the most sharing of my music that it's been. They're all so, everybody's, to me, it's all very awkward about it. They will come out. There would be like an aunt. They'll be like, "You bring your guitar. Why didn't you bring the guitar out?
Okay.
Play for us." I'm like, you don't want to hear this.
Sure.
You don't want to hear the songs that I make, and I don't have songs that you are going to like. But I think honestly, 36 years in this family, I think I'm starting to read the room. And if I am going to play a song for them, I just got to learn like a damn Sinatra song or something.
Fair enough.
Something that I know that they'll all know and like, and that I'm going to care about.
Yeah. So was it like a situation then, like when you were like getting into writing songs and playing shows and things like that, was it very much a what's he doing type thing?
It was very much a you could be doing anything, and we're not going to talk about it.
Okay.
It was I don't know. Nobody seemed to give a shit, really.
I got you.
Yeah.
Just very much like everybody's just like,
maybe he'll stop soon. It's probably maybe if we don't talk about it, he'll stop soon. But,
gotcha.
Yeah.
So not much of like a musical family background.
So much support. Yeah. No, my immediate family was nice about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I get you. I mean, it was just one of those things where it's like, I mean, like my dad never started coming out to any of like my band shows until honestly like the past like 3 years or something like that, you know?
Kind of the same.
And like it was, I think it's just like one of those things where I don't think it's the case of like, oh, well, like he's been doing this long enough and like he's actually like doing it. So I guess I'll support. I think it's just like other things, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But it's like interesting that it took this long for like some of those people in my circle to like take what I do seriously.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm in the same boat. It's kind of, it's weird, and it's rewarding. It's rewarding to have them finally come and be like, "Hey, that was great. Like, I'm so glad I came." And I'm like, I'm so glad you came. Like, it means the world to me whenever I see somebody that I've known forever just come out and do it. It just actually be like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go check it out."
Yeah,
and they do it, and I'm like, that's cool. Especially when if they in however many words they want to express that they approve of it, then that's really nice. It's a good feeling.
Yeah. I think, and it's like fun too, because like I would say the one dynamic difference between me and you is I would say that like creatively the stuff that I do is like historically maybe not family friendly. Like I wouldn't be surprised if like, you know, some random aunt or uncle that I hadn't seen in, you know, a decade came out and was like, what the hell was that? You know, like, you know, all the just hooting and hollering.
Yeah.
But it's like, you know, you're a respectable guy making, you know, good old fashioned just music.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I mean, you know, it's nothing too wild.
Yeah, my buddy Nick Charters, who's in the Coal Miners, he found a way, like with I think each of my songs, to point out that they're all just like coded like innuendos. That they're all just like the dirtiest sex songs.
Oh, nice.
So it'd be fun playing it because he'd make little sound effects like whenever like I'd say a line in a song that would, you know, validate his perspective on the tunes. So I carry a little bit of that with me. I think it's hysterical.
Yeah.
Because they come out and I'm like, oh yeah, it does sound that way. I didn't think of it like that. But yeah, no, I think I got my first expletive. What's the thing you gotta say on your track if you swear?
Yeah, like the explicit lyrics
Explicit lyrics.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got my first song.
Oh,
they had that.
Bad words. Wow.
Yep.
So that's always an interesting.
It's the F word.
Thanks for clarifying. It's always that's an interesting thing with songwriting. In like the idea of swear words and bad words. I actually, for somebody that makes and contributes to a lot of rather aggressive styles of music, I actually try to intentionally refrain from swearing. Like I don't think I've ever put one swear word in any Gray Walker song.
Nice.
And with some of my like hip hop stuff I have when I was younger, definitely. Best believe I was 19 and saying shit. and
were you like Little Dicky?
No. That was actually what made like the time that I was, because like there was, I don't know if Little Dicky was a thing at that time, but there was other stuff like, I don't know if you remember like who were some of the other, there was like some other kind of like more campy white rapper people at the time.
Yeah, I didn't know much about it.
Yeah, and I would get that a lot.
Yeah.
You know, like playing shows. Like, oh, like it's like, you know, like, especially once I got the band, it was always like, it's like Limp Bizkit. Yeah. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Not really.
I totally missed out on rap growing up.
You know,
I totally missed out on it. So I've very limited knowledge.
Yeah.
But what I know is from after, like, is from after high school.
Okay. So like,
for sure.
I mean, that's interesting. Like if there wasn't, like a super, like not like a super musical household.
It was pretty musical. I mean, we loved like it was like not, and it was like a music fan.
Okay.
Household, like not like a musical, like we all played instruments. My brother was in the band though. Like my brother Nick played guitar and sang before me, and then my eldest brother Mike was.
So music was band. Around, but it just wasn't sure. Like.
No, it was big. It was big, but like, I was encouraged. My parents bought me my guitars, but like, I was encouraged. I don't want it to be like, it was my like extended family that
heard
that wouldn't care that I was talking about mostly.
I got you.
With those
yeah,
stories.
That makes sense. Yeah.
But like in high school, like I grew up in like, a very white part of town. I had this joke. I write jokes down in my phone, the rural, like my place is this weird Italian. It was this weird rural place that was like, it was like all white, but like it was like Riverside and Elwood, and Riverside was like the rural corner of what used to be the Elwood City School District. They like cut it off, I think. And it had like the joke, and it was connected more to this town called Fombelle, where they would say that like it, had more cows than people.
Okay.
And like, but mixed in there was like the overflow from Elwood. Like some of these Italian Americans were like just kind of out in the countryside that like, and he wasn't really a hick, but like I think it's so funny. But like I knew a hick named Mackenzie Vignolini. No, but like there's like some straight up Italian hicks out there. Mackenzie was actually not really a complete hick, but like we're in the midst of like some total like folks that really like get her done phrase was on the hood of their trucks.
Oh, totally.
Immediately.
But it's funny
early
how
adopters of it.
It's funny like how like I think that a lot of people overlook like how kind of rural or like country a lot of Pennsylvania is.
It all is like,
and like my girlfriend just moved here from Virginia,
mm-hmm.
and she grew up in Virginia and in Kentucky. And like, it's funny because it's just like, she had no idea what
mm-hmm.
it was like here and what the people were like here. And it's like, yeah, it's like, we're not like, it's like, she keeps on saying it's like Pittsburgh's like a Midwest city. And it's like, we're not really Midwest, but like,
there's
I guess that the energy's kind of here.
Yeah, it is.
It's definitely not like Philly where you get all the New Jersey and New York City runoff people. Like that's a much different attitude of people than what you're going to get over here.
Yeah, I am. But I go to Chicago and I'm like, yes, the spot here is like a lot like Pittsburgh. And then Detroit, I'm like, oh, this is like Pittsburgh.
Yeah, definitely.
And then like Erie, and I'm like, no, this isn't like Pittsburgh. And then,
what is like Erie?
Dude, Pittsburgh is like Pittsburgh, man. It's just, I don't know why it needs to be like grounded to a region, but like we have to. We need like, I'll want to know our identity. Yeah. I don't know where the one that Katniss Everdeen came from. That's our region. District 12, 14. One of them districts from the whatever that movie's called, The Mockingjay.
Yes.
But that was not the movie. Hunger Games.
The Hunger Games,
yeah.
Yes.
That's the district we're from. We're more like, like Pennsylvania applies way better than, anything else. Like, we're more West Virginia than, I mean, there's like roving like dirt bike gangs like in Brookline.
Yeah.
Like, that's not.
Yeah.
That's like.
It's not city behavior.
That's not city behavior.
Yeah, totally.
So
like rewind. Like you're in Elwood City area. And like, again, not much, music's in the family, in the house. People are playing, people are listening to music. But like, okay, so like exposure to like hip hop and things like that.
So
Definitely.
And so what I was trying to get, and the whole story here was why I mentioned my hometown is that like the dudes I knew that listened to rap were not inclusive. They're
sure.
So like I wasn't gonna be like, oh, I want to hang out with these guys and listen to the same music they listen to. No, thank you, because they would probably shove me into a locker. Maybe.
Gotcha.
I was pretty cool with most folks in my town, in my school, but like the most intense ones would be listening to rap. It would be like dangerous rap, and also like by dangerous rap at the time, Eminem.
Yes.
Oh, that's dangerous.
Yeah.
It'd be like this mix between Eminem and like Insane Clown Posse.
Okay. Yes. It's all Detroit. It's all Detroit.
Are they from Detroit?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I appreciate them more now. But I appreciate them even more now.
Yes.
About that. But yeah, no, I was just kind of alienated by it just because I wasn't, like a part of that crowd. I was like, I was too far beyond the WYAP. Like, I didn't know that station existed, so I never heard Wilco, which is like one of my favorite bands now. Like they're up there with like all the classic rock bands, but like I got my share of alt rock from 105.9 The X, and my like music history from DVE.
Yeah.
And so that was really my upbringing. And my dad, which is like the textbook that you would read, like like the after the preface of any of these songs, it'd be like, here's the intro to Led Zeppelin, and then my dad would be like, well, here's the whole album, and so I'd listen to that, or Genesis. Here, let me show you, or Journey. Let me show you this old. I know Journey's kind of lame, but like listen to this old record. They used to be a spacey jam band before they went pop, and so like that was like where I came up. That's how I got my education.
Yeah,
sleeping on the couch and waking up to like Genesis, Foxtrot, just like, what is this weird music?
Yeah,
and it like sinking into my psyche as I'm growing up.
So like, as you continue to grow and you get out of, you get out of the house, you get into the world, you start playing shows with other people and different kinds of music. Like, what is it like in those like, late teens, early 20s, like when you're probably like starting to like digest way, way more stuff because it's around.
Yeah.
Like, what is it like getting exposed to like all this? Not that you weren't exposed before, but I'm sure like once you start like writing a lot of songs and playing shows, like you like absorb music differently.
Yeah.
And I'm curious what it's like for you to like hear like hip hop now, or like
it's
even
fucking badass, man.
Yeah.
Like it can be so heavy and like so. Like my thing was, all right, it's just a loop. Like that's the base of it. And whenever I tried to have a discussion with people, I'd be like, what do you like about it? Like, show me something. You know what I mean? It was so hard to get to. I didn't hear enough of it that I couldn't find like a spot that I'd be like, oh yeah, no, that's the shit right there. Like I remember hearing Nelly and being like, that's kind of cool, but like, is it rap? Like, is it cool enough? But like, no, it kind of was. Like, I mean, sampling stuff that is catchy and not, it's like a breakbeat from, like an old, like, like an old R&B record or something, or like, I don't want to mark myself for not knowing what I'm talking about, but I don't know what I'm talking about. But like, there's some like badass beats in there. Like, and what's funny is whenever I would ask, I'd be like, what do you like about this? And people would be like, I like the beat. And I'm like, what is the beat? Like, I feel like the people that I would talk to didn't know what the beat was even composed of. I'd be like, do you like the bass line? Like, do you like the drummer? Like, that was how I talked. Like, I was trying to talk about rap with the same set of skills that I had talking about rock music.
Sure.
And like, I couldn't do that. I still really can't.
Yeah.
But like, you know, I could listen. There's been a handful of records, handful of songs that I'm like, damn, this is amazing, you know, and like I'm into it now. I kind of like, I like more minimal. I like how it's minimal because it's more meditative. And now I listen to rock, and a lot of times I'm like, there's a lot happening here, and it doesn't need to be happening.
Yeah.
Like that band Krangbin came out. It's just guitar, bass, and drums. And the drums are just find a thing. Like, I don't even know if there's any fills on the album, on any of them songs. There are, but like, everything is so minimal that it's just like, everything breathes. And like, rap can be just as inventive as anything else. But like, I like, the reason why I mentioned Crankband is because that was my turn off from rap at the beginning. Is like, if you look at the definition, it was like, it's like repetitive. So you can find like one sample and loop it like the whole song. And I'm like, where's the fun in that? Like, where's the band? Like, I totally missed out on it.
Yeah. I think that it's like you like listening to rap. It's like you're as an active listener, as like a musician listening to rap. Yeah. It's like my brain is totally engaged with listening to that way differently than I might listen to some like progressive rock record from the 70s, you know? And it's like, they're both very valid pieces of art, but they're like very different things.
Yeah.
And I feel like with a lot of hip hop, especially like sample based stuff, it's kind of like, what's interesting about it is it's like a museum piece in a way, where it's like a curation of culture.
Yeah.
That's kind of been like, we've plucked this one thing and we've taken it, and now we're like looping a beat and we're telling a story.
Yeah. That's
and it's like, it's just a different thing.
It's freeing. It's like the amount that like an artist can elaborate on a subject, like Rage Against the Machine, to talk, you know, to piggyback to Whale Tail, to Fishy Back, to to hop on the back of, to stomp into the ground, to circle the wagons here, to reinvent the wheel. I'm gonna keep.
Yeah, going. I got you.
No, the Rage is like the in between, like that's like the do that, like this rap rock. I was turned off by rap rock because it was all just like alpha, like alt rock. It was like you know, Limp Bizkit was like, when I first heard it, I was like, this is fun. And then you see the people that I knew that were into it. I was just like, you're not living a healthy, joyful lifestyle. Like, I think there's just like a negativity with some of it that would like, with like the alt rap rock. And that was another thing that turned me off. But like, I went to see Rage Against the Machine. It came out of that same era sort of, and Run the Jewels open. And like, I've been a fan of Killer Mike for a while. And like that was incredible. That was unbelievable. That was like one of the best concerts I've ever been to. And I just think that like the set of tools, the set, where it's coming from, everything about it is so different from rock, but it's still the same. And that's why, you know, as a kid, you see like, when you see stuff at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, you're like, that's not rock and roll. Why is that in there? Why is Britney Spears in there? You know, my dad would be bitching about that. But like, you come out and then you're just like, dude, it's all art. It's amazing.
It's like it's understanding the culture of rock and roll, and not necessarily like having it just like the genre. I feel like the genre of rock and roll music and the culture of rock and roll are two different things.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it's like an amusement park or a theme park.
Yeah. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes, I do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Every theme park is technically an amusement park, but every amusement park isn't a theme park.
Right. Exactly.
So
well,
I was going to find a way to get it in.
I know. But we will. Yeah. We're going to.
But
I need to say that like the dude from the Kinks that overdrove his guitar on that one song and created rock and roll music. What was rock and roll about that is that he did something he wasn't supposed to, and it broke the rules. So like, how rock and roll is it to like say there's no fucking guitar here? Like,
sure,
it's pretty rock and roll. Like you can like just have like an element of rebellion. Like, I'm gonna do something different. Damn it! Like,
yeah, and
I don't give a shit. Like I think that's the spirit of it. It's not like and
that goes into that like that
genre
that goes back to the very beginning of the conversation about like a human connection. because I think a lot of people resonate with the culture of rock because a lot of people like want to be rule breakers. They want to, they don't want to fall in line. They want to people like ego. Ego is kind of like what makes rock work. Right. That's why you had like Elvis or David Bowie or whatever,
Yeah, because how can anybody be willing to like go out on a limb and do this weird thing that they're doing? Yeah, like it has to be like a little bit of an ego.
There's like a bravado that is magnetic for a lot of people.
Yeah,
and now like so much of what modern rock music is like, yeah, there aren't guitars in it and things like that. But that's because it's like, I don't know if it ever was about the instruments. It was about the attitude.
Yeah.
And so many modern rock bands now, I don't know, the attitude isn't there for a lot of them.
Which is funny. I like Neil Young a lot. And I like I've done like probably 3 Neil Young nights over the last like 15 years.
Yeah, you just did one recently, didn't you?
I did.
Bottle Rocket.
It was so much fun.
Sold out, I heard.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you. But it was my buddy Chet described it as beta rock. And I'm like, you're right. That's what I like then. That's my thing, beta rock. Because it's like, you know what? Like, I'm not in your face. I'm not acting like I'm like some like rich dude going to like, like ZZ Top, like with cash and like strippers and stuff. Like,
yeah.
That's alpha. That feels a little alpha. I'm more like the like chill, like I'm gonna, take my time here and like be like more vibe out a little bit. And but like I still clearly must have a damn ego if I'm able to be like, I'm gonna play music in front of as many people as I can. And so I guess that it's still somehow rock and roll.
Yeah.
Whenever it's not cocky as fuck.
Totally. Yeah. I think that like, it's easy for like, I think it's easy to like, ego doesn't have to be a negative thing. It can very easily be and turn into a negative thing. But I think it's more like, I guess a more universally acceptable way of saying it would be like confidence.
Yeah.
And having a confidence about your work and a confidence in your character on stage. It doesn't have to be like a, go fuck yourself, I'm the fucking guy type. I'm a rock star.
Right.
But you need to hold some sort of a confident demeanor.
This is true.
And that's like magnetic. Like it's like really hard for me to like when I like see bands play, regardless of what style of music it is, if I'm watching a band play and if there's one person on the stage that looks like they don't care about being there, I'm like, why am I here?
Yeah, exactly.
I hate to be the guy that's going to like, talk to my buddies during the local show, but it's just like, I'm not here to watch your fucking band practice, guy. Put on a show. Yeah. I'm going to put on a show.
Yeah. I always say that I think of myself as a confidence man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I'm I like to bring confidence. I'm trying to work the word con in here. That's what a con man is short for confidence.
Yes.
And no, so like, no, that's
a good album title.
Yeah, what confidence man?
Yeah, you could take it.
Be like, what? I didn't know that's what it meant.
But yeah, it's just it's interesting. Rock music on like a popular scale is in like a really interesting place right now. But I guess music in general is in a really interesting place if you're talking about like Billboard, Grammys, whatever any of that means.
I don't even. It's funny how
it's like
much
all legacy stuff. It's like even with like movies now. I was talking about this with somebody else recently, where it's like there are no like young actors or actresses that you see like get like a lot of buzz. Like everything's legacy.
Yeah.
I'm sure if I looked on the Billboard charts right now, I'd still probably find Guns N' Roses or something.
Yeah, probably.
And that's fine. It's just weird to me.
Yeah.
Like where's I don't know. It's not like there's a shortage of people with ideas and capabilities.
Yeah.
It's like the willingness to fund things just seems so limited.
Oh, well,
I'm like,
yeah, and that's
they used to fucking make anything.
That's just safe. That's just playing everything safe. And that's not very rock and roll, is to play things safe. But you need to be able to have like a risk. You need to be able to like to have an element of risk and being like, this could flop, this could waste some money. That's where all the best stuff came from. Like all those, like every rock and roll movie you see, like it's always like, I don't know. You got to believe in them. We'll see what happens. They're so different. No, have them play the hits, the standards. No, and then they branch out and they don't do the hits and standards. They do their own thing, and then God bless them, they make it. And then everybody's still talking about them to this day, and it's still that way. But like, that's the commodification of everything. That's the capitalist path for things. People do make risks here and there sometimes, but they don't always. A lot of times they don't, because it's risky. That's the nature of it. And whenever people are in it to make money and not to do something fun and cool, then they play it safe and they don't invest in the cool thing, unless they know it's going to be super, super cool. They have some statistics to follow that are like some studies that are going to be like, this is going to make it with this crowd. Like, we have the capital to push it. But like, follow that trend across every single money-making thing out there. Every industry, no one's gonna take their chances. They're gonna play it safe. You're not gonna find anything new when you play it safe. That's what happened to radio. Who screwed that up? I think it was Clinton. Clinton made it so that all the radio stations could be consolidated into like a couple huge companies. Okay. And then that's where algorithmic playlists and that's why a radio station can be like one of those. That's why we have radio stations now that are the same radio station they were 20 years ago.
Oh yeah.
It's the same exact playlist as it was.
I'm always joking about like, when am I going to hear Korn on DVE?
Yeah. Will it happen?
It's, the first Korn album now is as old as the first Black Sabbath album was when the first Korn album came out.
Yeah.
Korn is classic rock now.
Yeah. If it worked that way. But the X is where that one lives.
Yeah. It's so weird.
Yeah. And so maybe like will WYP become, no, because they're independent. But
it's like, what happens to new music?
Will the new music end up? I know there's radio stations elsewhere, but that play new stuff. And a TV does. It will, and it does. But like, they don't have a choice. I don't think they have a choice to what music they play. But they are creative. The people that have creativity, when they have creativity, they are creative. And they're fun. They're fun to listen to, and they're people. They're great personalities that run that station. And
I think
they're on all the stations. And they make. That's why people. That's one thing that helps people listen to those same songs day in and day out, is that there's like this life behind the people that are on the radio.
Totally,
that come
and
on and talk to them.
When you're talking about like DVE or the X, there's like people there that you could tell are like genuine fans of music. Yeah. And also both those stations do way more than they need to try to support local like Pittsburgh music.
Hell yeah.
They don't need to do anything.
They don't.
The fact that they do anything is cool.
Yeah. And they do a shit ton, and it's amazing.
So, I mean, that's nice. It's
really nice.
It's interesting though that in the grand scheme of things though, it's still like, again, the same legacy playlists.
No, like Radiohead is like the biggest band, one of the biggest bands in the world. Yet. Okay, look, I don't even have to say just Radiohead. There's so many bands that come through, and the money still, it's funny because like people listen to bands that are not on the radio, and they come and they'll sell out huge venues in town, across the world, across the nation. And then they're not on the radio for some reason. And it's like, what? I don't understand. They like the radio, like the X will only play like Creep and maybe Paranoid Android by Radiohead.
Yeah.
And like, they've had a lot of songs that are very popular that a lot of people listen to, and will gladly pay $90 to $150 to have shitty seats at Console Energy Center.
Yeah, I was at that
Radiohead. Show. Yeah. No, not good enough to play on the radio for some reason. Why not? Like, because of the corporate structure of like playing it safe, it's given us like a place of, and this isn't just with radio, it's with like just across the board. It like with food, like popular food, we end up in this state of like arrested development where like we're no longer looking, like striving for anything better. We have like, it's funny, Chipotle is a lot better than McDonald's probably, but then is it? Probably not. It's not actually.
Doesn't McDonald's own Chipotle now?
They do. Yeah. But like, it's just this, like, it's just being like literally fed these things that like just maintain the standard. And there's, they have the power and the money to have a presence everywhere that is stronger than the strongest independent voice. And so like, that's why the city's so great, is because you have a concentration of independent people that are, you know, you've got Walnut Capital, like making like some restaurants, and that's cool. Like, it's, to us, it's funny how like snooty I am that like there's this company that has like 6 restaurants that I'm like, corporate bullshit. But like, I mean, they go good restaurants, good for them. Like, that's great. And it's not, you know, like the big, it's not Olive Garden.
Sure.
It's not Olive Garden. And it's down here in the city. And like, I have the privilege of being like, I'm going to go smaller. I'm going to go more independent than these people, you know? And like, that's why the city, people don't understand why these people go down to the city. It's just like all that crime. It's so much crime. It's not that much crime. There's crime, but like, there's crime. But like, so I was watching a clip on YouTube of, it was like, there's a spaceship, there's a science center in Los Angeles that they're standing up the Voyager, or one of the space shuttles, and it's going to be a big part of it. And it's awesome. It's like right downtown. It looks great. But it ended up, I was like brushing my teeth and like getting ready for work. And it ended up just going into regular stories, like from LA, from their news. And I was just like, oh my God.
Sure.
LA is insane.
Yeah.
There's this woman that had like this like really cute dog. Somebody took the dog, got in a car. She went and stood in front of the car. The car was filled with people. There were people in there that were complicit. And then it drove. And then the woman was on the top of the car that was trying to get her dog back. And the photo was from the restaurant that the woman was at that somebody took. They didn't do anything to help, but they took a photo. And the car's flying by with the woman on the hood. And they were like, yeah, she escaped without any injuries, and still looking for the dog, though. So if you see this dog, and I'm just like, oh my God. There's a million stories that were just like completely different and 10 times more insane. But yeah, like Pittsburgh is awesome. The city is awesome because you get culture. That's what life's about. You need it. You need to be able to grow, and you need diversity to be able to learn and to grow. And without it, you end up in a state of arrested development. You end up with the same shit. That's why whenever I go somewhere and I'm trying to pick up like some kind of meat alternative for my wife, because she's a vegetarian, and I walk into like a big store and I go, you know, where's like the refrigerator that has the meat alternatives? And they go, there's a pause where they judging the shit out of me and also pitying me and going like the tofu. And I'm like, you're a manager.
Yes.
At Market District in Wexford. You can blur that out so that it doesn't shine a light on my experience yesterday. But so it doesn't put it but yeah, no, like just a little bit of like, I don't know, maybe that guy has like heart disease. And like, if he actually tried a meat alternative, maybe he wouldn't have heart disease. Like maybe he might be all right. Maybe he'll get a few more extra years out of his life, but sure. He'd never know because like he's not quite in the city. He's in Wexford.
Fair enough.
It's not even close enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's in the Cranberry City. What is that? Suburbs?
I would say the Cranberry is the suburbs.
You call that suburbs, and then rural is Zelienople.
Sure. I mean, it's a little more suburban.
Less,
but there's like things that you could do in Zelienople.
Yeah.
General Shoes has really great Chinese food in Zelienople.
I actually love Zeli. Yeah.
It looks
like a little.
There's some like restaurants and coffee shops and breweries and things. Yeah. There's a little bit of culture there. It's like small town.
There is, and that's what the coffee shop sort of like era stuff was supposed to bring us.
Yeah,
it was supposed to bring us that sort of culture of collaboration and like life. And
yeah, if there's like a restaurant and a coffee shop, then like you're good.
Yeah,
but if it's like only a gas station and a convenience store,
yeah,
maybe that's rural.
It's kind of funny how coming out of the Bush era, we're a couple years out of the Bush era. Do you remember?
Yeah, a couple.
It's funny. Everybody bitches and bitches and bitches and bitches about shit. But like in my experience, like I've seen businesses come and go, but like the trajectory, like even with Ravenstall, like everybody bitching about him. Since I've been in the city, you move into these neighborhoods and like there's an era where everybody just bricked up the front of the building, right? Like there's the glass, and then they were like, "No, there's too many riots. I got to put the bricks up."
Sure.
I guess that's why they did that. But like in my lifetime, it's only improved. There's only been more businesses, more cool shops, more cool things to do in small towns. It is a shame though. Yeah, I can't say that across the board though, because there's also an upward trajectory of just like, like Cranberry type areas just like spreading like wildfire. Just like more woods, get rid of the woods, put in another strip mall. More woods, put another strip mall. Just growing out. Condos. Yeah, let's do some condos. Need a car to get around. Get a car. Like that's one thing we could improve on is public transportation and stuff like that. But I don't know. Culture in the city is something that's great. And that's what I was getting at. Zeli is sweet. Small towns are sweet because they have, if you're lucky, there's extra stuff to do. There might be something a little different, but like it's still limited.
Yeah.
It's still limited out there. They need more.
The thing that I think I tend to like about going to like a small town type place is they're sometimes a little bit more humble, I suppose, than what you might get with some experiences in the city. Mm-hmm. Like there are several different restaurant groups that create dining experiences that we can, enjoy here. And that could be nice for like a date or a special night out with friends or whatever. But like sometimes it's just like a little bit too much.
Yeah, a little too serious.
I don't like the like try hard nature of some of these places.
Yeah.
So I live in Mount Washington, and there's a place up there called Coughlin's Law, and I'm going to be calling this place out right now because they're trying way too hard for me.
Yeah.
It's just very like, it's one of these like everything has to be Instagrammable type, like everything's presented real crazy and they do interesting things. And I'm sure whoever their like sous chef is probably great.
Yeah.
And really cool ideas. And I think there's definitely a market of people that want to go to a place where, they're going to get the cocktails served in those things where the smoke comes out and all the burgers are all gigantic and goofy and like, cool. That ain't for me.
Yeah. Right.
Like it's just like, I very much like a much more simple experience.
Yeah. What's funny about Coughlin's Law though, is that
Oh, you're familiar.
Yeah, I am. If it were, bet your ass I am. No, but that's like it's not a TGI Fridays, but it's like if that were picked up and like dropped in a rural community or like, somewhere out there, like,
oh, sure. People
would be like, whoa, how thick are the burgers? Whoa, they're like this thick? Holy shit. I've never had it. Yeah, but I don't know. They're just like, it's like they're regurgitating like the same stuff, but making it like a little bit nicer. Like it's like the hippie, or not hippie, hipster, like I call it Publishers Clearinghouse, but it's a industry public house.
Oh yeah.
And that's like a similar sort of situation where it's like they do the smoke on the whiskey.
Sure,
thing,
it's the Lawrenceville Applebee's.
Yeah,
if you will.
It's which
but
Applebee's evolved into reclaimed wood and Edison bulbs.
Yeah,
right. Is that the evolution, right? And they're like, we're independent and we also brew our own beer.
Yeah, I feel like it's just like there's like a lack of personality to some of those places for me.
Yeah.
But again, that's like nothing. It works for a lot of this goes back to me being like
a lack of, it feels like it's like corporate. Like there's a lot of money here. Like this is too consistent and there's too many people working here for it to be any bit of an extension of a person. Like it's like whenever you can be like, this is somebody with an idea and they went for it and this is awesome. Or like, this is the family that started making food and they went for it and this is awesome. But some places you go to, it is independent, but it feels just like a corporate entity. Yeah. And that I kind of get that with Coughlin's Law. It's like kind of, there's too many healthy young professionals there.
Sure. But I mean, I think for some people, that's like what they want when they're going out. Yeah. Like that's the experience that they want. And for me, it's like, I prefer something that like that's a little bit more, I don't know the word, but just like, maybe it's kind of like songwriting where it's like, I prefer something that just feels more genuine and isn't being just like manufactured to get my attention and nothing else.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, I go to a restaurant to just like, I just want a good plate of food.
Yeah. Right.
You know, if it's a date night, maybe the view or something matters to me.
Yeah.
But like, I don't, you know, if it's a restaurant, I feel like the food needs to go first. And it's kind of like going back into music. It's like you need a good song. It's like, sure, if you have like a really good song, then maybe you can start thinking about like fun outfits or like a fun stage setup and do all of this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But I feel like if the food's not that great and it's all just about presentation and not like the execution of what the main thing is, which is like food, that like bothers me.
Yeah.
And like with a lot of those places that I've been to,
I think I've only gotten the wings there.
I've just been like, I don't know, this ain't for me.
Yeah. The wings are good. But you'll be pissed off how they look, how they're served. They're orderly. There's like 4 or 5 in a row.
Oh yeah, I mean, like if I'm gonna get, are you talking about if I'm getting wings in Mount Washington, I'm going to Bigham.
Yeah.
That place rules.
I've never been there.
It's awesome. Yeah. It's much more. I think that I would if you find yourself in the Mount Washington area, in the mood for some like, you know, American food.
Where is it?
So it is on Bigham Street.
It is?
Yes, I believe. And this is one of the situations where if I was just driving, I could go there, but I can't explain it. Like I know how to get there. But yeah, it's like, it's not up by Shiloh and all of that. Yeah. It's on the other side of Mount Washington. So the way that I normally get there is if, say, you go all the way down to the end of Shiloh, and then you're at the intersection of the Star Wars vending machine, and there's the shopping save.
Oh yeah.
If you make the right on that street, whatever the hell that street is, go down past the florist, past the gas station, keep going straight, and eventually you will hit Bigham, and then you turn right there, and it's right there.
Oh, that's great.
So it's like just like mixed into the neighborhood. Like it was a house. You could tell that it used to be a house, and they turned it like into a tavern. Yeah. The outside of it just looks like a house.
Awesome.
And it's on a street with other houses.
Yeah. Okay. And it's right at in that intersection that you would turn off of Bigham.
Yeah. So if you make
it's like at the top of the hill.
Yeah. You just you make the right, go past the shop and save in the floors, past the gas station. Just keep going straight. You're gonna go through. You'll pass. There's that road that goes up to Mount Washington from like where the Wabash tunnels are.
Go straight up the hill.
Yeah, go past that, go straight up the hill, and it's right there on the right.
Yeah, I know that little spot. If you make a left there, there's like this old housing development back there that's just like beautiful.
Oh yeah.
It was like it's some kind of like it was some sort of like early idea of like what eventually became bastardized, turned into condos. But like it's this beautiful, beautiful neighborhood of row houses.
Oh, cool.
Like beautiful parks in between and like stone pathways and like arches to walk under these stone walls and like these cool like hidden parking lots for like little, everybody has like a little parking spot in the garage, and it's really cool. Yeah, it's a good little drive.
I'll have to keep that in mind next time I'm up there.
Yeah, a little joyride.
Yeah, I haven't like done. So we just moved up there in October, and I never really spent much time in that area prior, so I haven't like done a whole lot of exploring yet.
Have you been?
We have gone to Bigham Tavern probably about 24 times.
So I don't want to change the subject, but I went to Florida, and my wife and we drove to Florida. So I had my car in Orlando. I drove into Epic Universe.
Oh, nice.
I drove into an area that I wasn't supposed to be driving.
Okay, were you just like trying to like spy around?
I was like, this road is here, and I'm going to make a right onto it. It's called Epic Drive. And it was all like golf carts and pickup trucks and dump trucks, like and like construction vehicles. And I was definitely not supposed to be there. There was a sign, I'm sure, but I decided not to see it because it was just open to the like. It was just like it was a road. It was just like a road, like any road. And so I went in there. It was pretty cool. I saw that like the entrance, and then I could see like the tops of like the roller coasters.
Oh fuck yeah!
They released a video.
Oh, yesterday. I was gonna ask if you saw it.
Yeah, the algorithm. This is so fascinating to me because as a kid watching, you see, like I remember whenever Islands of Adventure came to be and being like, yeah, my family's never gonna get to go there. And just being like so excited that there's like a Jurassic Park land and everything like that. It's like that feeling, but also with YouTube and drone footage now. And I don't think there is ever an amusement park that you're able to see this in such.
Oh yeah,
like you can watch it every day.
Well, this is like
there's a video showing you the progress of this like multi-billion-dollar project.
Yeah, I mean there hasn't been a park of this scale built in real in like easily 20 years.
Yeah.
And isn't there? I know that I don't think they've broken ground yet, but there's some other huge park that's getting built in like Alabama or somewhere.
The Midwest somewhere. It's like, I think it's the guy that used to own Pizza Hut.
Yes.
That started Pizza Hut.
Yeah.
It's called like Heartland America.
There it is. Yep. Yep. Yeah, so it'll be interesting.
What's happening.
Yeah. Well, like I said, they haven't broke ground, but I know that there's a lot of talk about it.
Good for them.
But I mean, it's cool that to see the Epic Universe stuff happening. I'm really excited about it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's gonna be sweet. It's so funny. Like I don't think about it all the time, but as soon as I sit at my computer and open up YouTube to have something playing, like while I'm working, the algorithm is like Bark update. And I'm like, and it'll have a picture of like the Frankenstein ride, and I'm like, oh, that looks sweet. I got to see what happened.
Yeah,
like the Wolfman ride. They're testing it. I'm like, oh my god, I got to see it. And then it's like a 15-minute video, and then now I know everything about that park.
Yeah. Yeah, I've watched a handful of things myself that pop through my YouTube as well. Very excited, honestly. It'll be also really cool because this will be the first time in my life that like something like this opens and I could do something about it.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Like I don't have to like hope somebody's gonna take me.
Exactly.
Like I can go.
Yeah. I should start saving now so I get to stay in the park. But the thing is my brother works down there and he's in the amusement industry, and like I should just start talking to him now to be like, okay, are you going to be able to get passes for me?
Sure.
Because if not, then I'm gonna have to save up to do this. But also, I don't want to go down there whenever it's packed.
Yeah, I'm curious.
It might take a while.
Because I have a so like I'm a Universal season pass holder.
Oh, nice.
And I'm curious how what the dynamics of that are gonna be like.
Yeah.
How that's gonna shift if I get grandfathered into some sort of a good deal or something.
I think you might.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I think you might. That's awesome. How often do you go?
So, I mean, I don't go that often, but when I go for long enough that it justifies to have the pass.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't been down. We went down for Halloween Horror Nights.
Yeah.
And I think I was in Orlando for like 9 days.
Oh, yeah.
But we did
because you'll play down there and then.
Yeah. We also did like Disney and SeaWorld and stuff too. But we spent most of the time at in Universal.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the first time I actually went down there and I rented a car.
Mm-hmm.
So, because like normally like I would just go down and if I'm gonna like leave property, I'll just like get a lift somewhere because I won't go anywhere too far. It's not that big of a deal. But yeah, I actually rented a car that time, so that was fun. So we got to just like scoot around and check out some other stuff.
Oh, that's great.
I was like really, really tempted to drive up to Tampa to go to Busch Gardens because Grace hadn't been there before. And it's a beautiful park. And like, I mean, they're slowly destroying it, but you can see what you can of it while it's still there.
I am so critical. Wait, why are they destroying it?
I mean, just all the fun, all the characters getting stripped out of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a shame. I'm so critical.
I mean, it's happening to like every theme park.
Yeah. You mean like with like modernization? Like they're just like kind of the minimal trend?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. That happens.
Yeah. I don't want to get into like an hour-long conversation about like Epcot or anything, but you know, it's just like.
Yeah. There's a great video essay, like a 2-part video essay about that. Forget who did it, but I'll send it to you. But it talks about like the Memphis design group.
Oh, it was Poseidon Entertainment.
Yeah,
I watched it.
That's the one. That's the one. Yep. Yeah. And then it was that, and then the Global Village Coffee House design trend. And,
the Panera Bread vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's stuff's fascinating because I think why I'm interested in that is because it's in any of these parks because it's such a concentrated like center of design. Like it's like every, if you go to a nice restaurant and you appreciate the way the place is laid out, or if you go to a park and you're like, like a city park, you're like, this is really nicely laid out. Like this is a nice park. I just love the idea that that there's enough capital that people can design, like humans can design a place like an amusement park. You know what I mean? Where it's purely, you just go there to be amused, and like you literally can be. And I think it's fantastic just to have it, every sight line and everything, just perfectly orchestrated. There's nothing quite like it. And there are places in the world that you can go that aren't amusement parks that are a million times better. But that's a different kind of design. That's like a naturalistic team. It's a lot of contributors,
sure,
to contributing to a city, to an authentic actual location. But like the fact that you can take like a movie that you think is like a cool movie that only exists on film on a set with a camera pointing this way, behind you there's no set, but on the film. But then to be like, what if it went all the way around? What if you built the set the whole way around and you could put people in there and then like put them on the Millennium Falcon? Like, that's awesome. That's so cool. And actually, a lot of my enjoyment is watching other people enjoy themselves.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Like if you see somebody walk into one of these locations for the first time, like, and see their jaw drop. It's just
that's yes. Anytime if I'm at Universal Studios, and you just stand by the entrance to Diagon Alley,
That's it. That's the spot.
Yeah. And like you just see people like go through, they've never seen it before. And it's just like, it's awesome.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, I mean, I've been, I don't know how many times I've been there, but it still gets me when you go through it. It's just like, holy shit, this is crazy.
That's the spot I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Because the spot's hidden too, which is brilliant. I had no idea that that was going to be back there.
Yeah, they did a really good job.
Yeah.
Like if you know where to look, if like you're like by the lagoon, like you could see the dragon.
Yeah, yep.
But most people aren't, you know, not thinking about it unless they know it's there.
Yeah. I wonder if they'll take out the Joe Rogan building.
Well, they've been doing that like
the horror night thing.
Yeah, the horror night show there.
But I think they might expand the Harry Potter stuff.
I think it'd probably be. I think it'll be a while. It'd probably be because they're doing all that Epic Universe stuff.
Things going on.
Yeah, dude, I'm more bummed about the Sinbad building at Islands.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the line. Have you gone in the line where it went through there?
It's all blocked off now.
We did like a drop, like a rope drop morning, and got in line for Hagrid's bike adventure.
Yeah,
and they had the line snake into the theater.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and across and then out the other end. And so I got another last look at the inside of
That's
the building.
Fun. Mm-hmm. We went down. You're talking
about Poseidon's Adventure. I was thinking about the stage show.
No, I was talking about about the Sinbad's show. Yeah, that's where they had the line going through there. Yeah, because that's right behind where Hagrid's is. But yeah, we went down in what was it, May or June, whenever they announced that Poseidon's was closing. We took it in. I was like, we're going down. I gotta go through this one more time.
I got lucky because I was on it like a couple months before they announced that. Yeah. I was like, okay, I got my last one.
Yeah. It's a bummer.
Yeah. That was a weird one.
I mean, I get it, but like, it's a bummer.
It is. I love how weird that one
is. Yeah, totally.
It's just like a weird anomaly where it's like, why is this still here? You know, this is amazing. Why do the actors and like, why does the production of like all the video just look like it's from a time that is not now, and I don't know when.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's so. Oh yeah. Like all the projection stuff. It's like I have it's like I have stuff that could do this better, and I'm just a guy.
There's a director that did those videos that did movies. Like I forget who it is, but I looked them up, and the movies have that same exact feel. It's amazing.
That's so rad. Yeah. But yeah, that whole area, that whole like Lost Continent area is so sick. And I know it's
gonna be Zelda.
It's on the chopping block.
I think it's gonna be Zelda.
I mean, that would be cool if they did that, but I'd be also surprised if they did that.
What else could they do?
I don't know. I feel like it's just gonna be like a weird.
It's like a silly.
If it does
Middle East that doesn't exist.
Yeah, I feel like it's it's like tiki.
Yeah,
culture.
Like
so it's just
Middle East.
An anomaly, an amalgamation of like so many different things. Mm-hmm. But I think that whatever that area is, like you're not going to see anything for like a decade easily. Yeah. It's just going to be a pass through.
Yeah. Yeah. That's safe to say.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We may be surprised. They may do something sooner.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like if they wanted to invest all of that capital in, and if they're gonna like, because like you figure the more that they can get people into the parks, the more money they're gonna spend, and Epic Universe is gonna get so many people down there, but they're not gonna be able to hold all the people. So if they want to keep overflow of people being like, well, since we can't, like, we can only go for 2 days, not 3, instead of them going to Disney, they want to be like, oh well, let's go check out the new thing at Islands of Adventure. It might not be a bad idea to have something new in all the parks.
Yeah, that's true.
If they could.
They're going to have to. It's going to be, everything's going to be so old by the time, like it already is kind of old.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, they're going to have to start thinking about new things.
Yeah. Did you do that? Did you go on that new Despicable Me shit where the Shrek thing was?
No, I'm so tired of like screens.
I don't like rides that are games.
Yeah, I hate actually Kennywood. Hopefully somebody from Kennywood watches this, but like take the guns back out of the haunted the manor. Because like that is so stupid. It's so stupid. It's such a gimmick. They took them out for COVID, And I enjoyed that ride so much. I saw things I never saw before, and it was so fun because everything actually just happened. You're not looking at the monsters because you're looking at the dots and you're shooting the dots, and then you're looking for the next dot because you want to get a score.
Yeah.
Why would you want to keep a score? Like when you go on a haunted ride, why are you on the haunted ride? To get a high score? No, you're not. It's such like an old trend. Like the Men in Black ride at Universal is like the same way. Somehow it's better.
Yeah.
But like because it's maybe more wide open and like there's less things to shoot. But like here's so dense and I'm missing everything.
Yeah.
Like,
a lot of the times, like if I'm at Universal, I might be there by myself.
Yeah.
And like I'll get like stuck in a cart with other people. And I'm like, I'm sorry, your score's going to be toast because I'm not playing. I'm just looking.
Yeah.
I'm just browsing. I'm going to mess up the average score of this cart real bad.
Worth it. Because then you're experiencing it. Like, I'm not, There was one ride that I rode at like Disney, at the Disney Studios, Hollywood Studios. And it was like a Toy Story ride. But it was nothing but a game. It wasn't more than that.
Yeah.
It was like it was all like fair games. And so like you've got a row of things, it stops in front of the screen and you shoot the things over.
It's like
that's what I think that
kind of shit pisses me off because it's like I expect this from Hershey Park. I don't expect this from fucking Disney.
But at least that ride isn't confused about what it's supposed to do.
Sure.
What it's supposed to do for you as like for entertainment. The other rides are like ambiguous where it's like, I want to have an experience, but like just shooting like chaos and like holding a thing in my hand and like clicking the button. And that's ambiguous. I don't know what I'm trying to get a high score, but I can't see what's happening because I'm trying to get a high score. This other one that is just a game for game's sake is just a game. So like, I'm not missing any animation or anything.
Yeah.
Just getting a score. That's the whole thing. And I'm fine with that. That was like the right balance. The other ones though, I'm fine with that, but like Disney can do way damn better than screens and like Duck Hunt.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely with you on that. But like, Kennywood needs to just like wise up, make it actual like haunted ride again, and it would be so much better. Also,
it's really funny to call it Duck Hunt. I never thought about that. That's so fucking funny.
When it's a gun and a screen, it's Duck Hunt. But like, at least it's live action stuff at Kennywood. But like that like video at the beginning, like.
I'm Kenneth Ghostwood.
I get so critical when I go to these places because I'll see a ride like
we've been waiting for you.
And he goes like this, and his hand goes off of the TV screen. And you're like, well, why didn't you just have him stay on the screen? Like, why didn't you use like replace that TV with like one of those OLEDs, one that isn't bright? Like black is not like a lit. It's actually like black. Like there's no. They could update that with like any like art student could make you a better, ghost.
Yeah.
And like how much like there's these updates that I'll see at these parks that I'm like, I'd do that for free. Like I wanted to fix the Exterminator scenery. I just wanted to be like,
oh yeah,
hey, I want to donate my time and fix that scenery like in the waiting room.
One thing
and like fix it, please. Like but you just put like $35 million into a roller coaster for the Steelers. Can you spend $100 to like take a weed whacker to like the in betweens on like the Raging Rapids?
Sure.
Or like paint, like put brown paint on that piece of that pipe that's supposed to be a log. Like
I was
fucking just put some energy.
I had the same thought about the fucking stroke on the Thunderbolt logo for years, but they actually fixed
Finally
that.
That's good. Yeah. It just pisses me off, like how they'll put so much money and attention into these other things. Like they had that TV. It was just like a what are they? CRT, just regular old ass TV, tube TV. They had like a video of like on the Exterminator, they had a video of like some plumbers that are like, whoa, the rats are way too big. They're killing us. Yeah, and then they ran that for like a year and a half. And then like,
have you been in the Exterminator queue recently? They ripped all of it out.
Yeah, it's gone.
It sucks.
Yeah, it does.
All the character out of that queue's gone.
There's no queue, or there's no character. And then also,
that room is like miserable now.
Nobody's ever that has worked there that has any control over anything has ever waited in line, because there's that dead zone where there's no airflow. And they left that during COVID. My brother was in there and he goes, I'm not vaccinated. And like ran out because like it's so hot and there's no airflow right there that like, it's like, can you just please like have it's on, I don't know. I get so frustrated whenever I see things that are so easy to fix. That might not be so easy to fix because it's like the airflow, but like put a damn big fan right there or something. Anything. Just get some circulation, some energy. Those damn like the whole they have people that are able to like maintain roller coasters.
Why does that section of the queue even have to be inside?
I don't know. I don't know. That's a great question. They have people that can like fix like an old thing like the Music Express when it goes down, but there's no one that can go in there and get like the stupid lights on that Exterminator theming, like that old switchboard. No one can go in there and fix that.
Yeah, they ripped the whole thing out.
That's so dumb. Yeah, there's no theming. It's just, I don't know. My word is that they're probably gonna close that and retrack it.
Yeah, I mean, it's rough.
It hurts. The last time I wrote it.
Oh yeah, when I last time I got off the Exterminator, I turned to Grace, my girlfriend, and I was like, I just got ravaged by the rat.
Yeah. It hurts.
Yeah,
it really is bad.
And like she had never wrote it before. She was like, "What the?" It's like, like, what the fuck is going on?
And I romanticize that ride too.
Oh yeah,
and like so that's even with my romanticization of it. Like I have this like conflated image of how great that ride is, and even with that, it still beat me the hell up to the point where I don't really want to ride it.
Yeah,
yeah.
That
fix it.
Shit's rough.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that before we get too lost in the sauce, I'm going to ask one question.
Yeah, we should circle back
of a rough roller coaster.
Oh yeah.
And this is, I know I've talked to different people about this, and some people like it, some people don't like it. Rip Ride Rocket at Universal.
Oh yeah.
Is for whatever reason like so hard on my body. I cannot ride that ride.
Yeah, no, I think that ride's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's got like the lift that goes straight up and then also winds through New York City that you do not see when you're on the ride, but like it looks cool from the ground.
Yeah.
And it gives you like 3.5 seconds to pick a song. And if you're lucky, you'll get ZZ Top, and like it shorts out like throughout the whole ride. So it's on and off, and it's just like, give me all your love. And meanwhile, you're just getting like the shit beat out of you. Yeah, no, that ride is just, they need to put a new one in or retrack it. The Hulk apparently was like that at some point. Like it hurt to ride so much that they just took it down and put in the exact same roller coaster, brand new track. And that thing's awesome.
Yeah, it was funny. I remember asking somebody that worked at Universal about the Hulk retracking, and they were like, I don't know what you're talking about. But previously they had said that they had like worked there for like 20 years. So I was like, is this just something that you're not supposed to talk about? And you're like, like, because I had heard the same thing too, and I was curious about that. So I asked them about it, and I was like, I don't know if maybe it's just something that like, or maybe they just don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
But I feel like that's something you would know.
I think it's a memory. I think that's a memory experiment.
Okay.
There's a Hidden Brain episode that podcast that I listened to recently, and it's this woman that did all these studies on like how impressionable your memory is. Like there's people have this collective thing where if it's they could be influenced to just like completely forget a thing. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah. There was this, it was in Italy. There was this like some like explosion that happened. A lot of people died. I think it was like a terrorist thing. It was a while ago, a long time ago. And they made a monument, or it was this clock that was destroyed. It was like frozen at this time. And it stayed at this time for like a handful of years. They renovated it, made the clock work again. And then for like 15 years, it ran. And then at the 20-year anniversary, they set it back to that time that it had frozen. And after a couple years, nobody ever remembered it being
working.
And they thought that it had just froze. It had been that number since the day that the tragedy happened. So yeah, our brains are influenceable.
Got it.
If that was Disney, I would say that the person was instructed not to ever reference the retracking.
Yeah. Yes.
But here at Universal, they don't.
They're not. Yeah.
No. They're just like, yeah, no, I live over in Lake Eola. Like, yeah, no. But at Disney, they're like, I'm from, name the planet from fucking Star Wars.
Oh, yes. Batu.
Yeah, no, I'm from Batu. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yes.
That's what they'd say.
Rising Suns or whatever.
I was trying to tell an employee on Batu. Is that the city that you're at? That you're at in the thing? I was like, there's supposed to be a SpaceX launch today, and I think that's a SpaceX thing. And she was like, wow, it's amazing. I was like, I broke through. And then these people in line behind me were very hungry, and they were so pissed at me because I stopped, and they were mean. They were very, very mean. That's a weird thing whenever you run into very mean people at an amusement park.
Oh, yeah. A lot of them. Mm-hmm. I've seen some of the meanest people, actually, like some of the mean, yes. Also in Galaxy's Edge at Oga's Cantina.
Oh, yeah.
The people that are in there, that are going there, that don't understand what the experience is going to be, that have like waited or whatever. Yeah. And like, you get like, it's like very communal, when you're in there, and it's like, you get 2 drinks, you get a half hour, it's like, it's not very welcoming.
They put you with, up to 4 other people.
Yeah, it's not very welcoming, and I get it, but I've seen like on multiple occasions, people like not happy.
Yeah.
And like, forcing, like demanding to get their own tables and doing all this stuff. And it's like, oh, that's why it's so hard to get in here. It's because of people like you.
Right. Exactly.
It's like the merge point on the Fort Pitt Bridge.
Yeah.
It's like the reason why this is so difficult is because everybody's cutting in front of and making it. If everybody just sit down, get your drinks, say hi to your neighbors, and leave. We can move it along.
Just talk about how your tongue feels like it has hair on it.
Oh yeah.
From the drink, because it does weird things to it.
The fuzzy tauntaun.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
We got to go.
Yes, we should probably wrap this one up. But I could talk about.
No, we got to go to Universal. No,
yeah, I'm down.
It's not even Universal.
I'll look up flights right now. Let's go. Anywhere. But yes, bringing it all back around, my friend André Costello of the Forestry division.
Yeah, thank you.
AKA Tomorrow Club.
No, it's not AKA. It's completely different. Forestry division has band members that contribute.
Yeah.
Tomorrow Club is just me. And then André Costello is me. The next album, I'm going to call it Decade because it's taken a decade. But it's Anthony from the War on Drugs. He's a studio that he works out of in Youngstown called Peppermint Studio. Anybody wants to record over there, let me know. I can help facilitate that. And I'm changing everything. I'm gonna start coming out with music.
Good.
And not waiting 4 years between every thing.
Good. Yeah, I get it's hard. Life gets in the way. Your brain gets in the way.
It's weird because I post, my brain. And so like I'll be like, I should post something. And I'll be like, I don't know, it's not gonna be right. I'm not worthy enough. I don't want to post anything. And I don't. And then I just like stop working on shit.
Oh yeah.
What the hell? I don't understand it. I just need to post. I need to be active.
Yeah, I feel like the happiest I ever was as an artist, or the most productive I ever was as an artist, was before the social media thing.
Yeah.
And when I was like a little bit more, it was easier to be naive, I suppose.
Yeah.
And like trying to find a way to regain that.
Yeah.
Not that I want to be ignorant.
Yeah.
Or that I want to be naive.
Yeah.
But it's just like there was a time when it's like I didn't think so much about, oh, what are people going to think? Is this the right time to post this? Is it, I just posted something yesterday. Should I post something again today? It's just like, that's not how like, I don't think that's how like art is, or how like, if I need to talk about something or share it, just share it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if it was 2 days ago or 2 hours ago or 2 years ago. Like what the time is right when it's right.
Don't overthink it at any point, even after it's there, after it's in the world. Just be like, just keep moving. Just keep moving. Be a shark.
Yes, absolutely. Well, it was great chatting, catching up.
Yeah.
We got to do a theme park someday.
Yeah.
I don't know where. I don't know when, but it'd be fun.
Yeah.
Just to walk around and look at some stuff and
it's
talk a bunch of shit.
It's gonna line up, dude.
We can go to Industry Public House and talk a bunch of shit. Then we'll go to Kennywood and complain about the TVs and all this stuff.
Let's just do a podcast out of any of these places.
What do you think about the Potato Patch bumper cars?
Oh, are they doing that?
Have you seen the mock-ups of that? Yeah. So they're doing like the bumper cars, and they're all like French fry boats.
Oh, that's
and like the connector that connects the bumper cars like a giant fork.
That's pretty funny.
It looks sick.
Yeah,
I'm into it. I'm here for it.
I'm a big fan of what Kennywood is doing with branding around the park and the
they're leaning into themselves. They're not trying to be anything that they're not.
Yeah,
and that's going back to like with songwriting and being human. Like they're just being like the most human version of what this is. Like we're an old school amusement park.
Yeah, and they're doing good with graphics. And,
everything looks great.
And they brought the kangaroo back.
Yeah,
and they set it up in they turned it, and the backdrop is the beautiful jackrabbit, and then the steel curtain, and you can see that the lagoon and everything through it. And there's actually a skyline that is nice to look at behind there. I was pissed whenever they took out those pine trees. I was like, I loved how like quaint the jackrabbit was back in this little corner there. But like what they did, they opened it up, and then the graphics and what they did, they put money into actually making it look good.
Yeah.
Like they're doing that all over the park. Like it's more than just doing the concrete. They're actually like, did they partner with Steel City, the t-shirt company? They must have, because there's like all these murals around the park that are like of that level of quality.
They repainted the Phantom. Looks good.
The parking lots are nice.
Yeah,
they have like banners of like labeling different sections of like they have the pagoda. Like they've like monumentalized these like landmarks through the parks through these like graphics on these banners that help you navigate. They're getting smart.
It's funny too, because like, every once in a while, like you'll hear somebody like if Kennywood comes up and just talking with just different people about it. It's like, I think a lot of people take it for granted.
Yeah.
And like,
they do.
Okay, like sure, it's not Universal or Disney.
Yeah, but
I don't know if a lot of people haven't gone to like other regional parks around the country.
Yeah.
And it's like, we're really, really lucky.
Yeah.
It's like, go to Kentucky Kingdom and come back and tell me if like you still think Kennywood's a piece of shit. God, go to pretty much any Cedar Fair park that isn't Cedar Point and tell me Kennywood isn't a piece of shit.
Yeah. Kennywood rules. It's always been awesome.
Yeah.
And now I think it's the best it's ever looked, honestly, since I was a kid. And I hear that some people are like, oh, they're fixing it up because they're going to sell it. That's why they're making it look so pretty. They're like flipping it.
Okay.
But we'll see.
I mean, I feel like
they're still fixing it up.
I feel like if you were just going to flip it, you wouldn't have to add the character though.
Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm.
That's the thing, like having all of the like unique branding and all of that stuff that gives it like, it's just like leaning into its history. If you were just going to flip it, you would just paint everything up nice, fix the cracks, and then basically you would want to strip out the character to a point where you basically have a blank slate, so anybody could come in and make it whatever they want. Jim Davis can buy it and make it his Garfield Park finally.
But yeah, sponsored by Frito-Lay.
Yeah.
I love that ride with the Garfield's nightmare was him having a nightmare not because he ate lasagna, but because he ate a bunch of Frito-Lays. Like he had when you're going up that little lift hill and it's just like, oh, I ate too much. And it's just like showing you Frito-Lay products. And you're and then he has a horrifying nightmare.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Yeah, I want some Frito-Lays. Where can I buy them? They're like, I don't know. Nowhere in the park.
Yeah.
So puzzling, that ride. That was such a weird ride. It's funny how I can appreciate it now that it's not there.
Oh, yeah.
That's just the way it goes.
Yeah. Well, Andre, it's been real.
It has.
It's been good. Good chat. We're just under 2 hours.
Oh, my Lord.
The longest one I've done in a while.
It's like a Joe Rogan episode.
Close. Yes, very, very close.
Another hour and a half.
Yes, yes.
We could get into MMA discussions.
Okay.
I don't know anything.
I don't know anything about MMA either.
I don't listen to him anymore.
Yeah.
But I think it's pretty much all MMA now.
Yeah, there's been some episodes. I remember I like Rob Zombie. I find him an interesting character.
Sweet people, I think
and that was a cool one. The Quentin Tarantino episode you had to listen to.
There used to be also people good people people that I know about used to go on that show all the time.
Yeah.
And then he just started having people talk about COVID. The
Miley Cyrus episode's really good.
Reputable people, and apparently,
I don't know. I don't care.
Yeah, I know. Apparently, but that drove other people, the interesting people, away. Roger Waters was on there.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Neil deGrasse Tyson was on there every other week.
Yeah,
always just good to any conversation with that man. It's fun to watch. He was cool to watch, the Rogan guy, because I think as a dude that doesn't know much, you can identify with that.
Sure.
And most dudes that are just dudes can identify with that. So that's why it was fun. Yeah, shit got weird. Maybe it's still good.
Who knows? I don't know. I'm not going to find out. I don't care. I don't got the time for that.
I really don't have the time for that. Yeah. But I'm just trying to drag it out so it's that long.
Yeah, we're going to hit 2 hours in it'll be 2 hours probably. Close enough.
Where's the clock?
There's a tiny red dot in the bottom right corner.
Oh yeah.
You see an hour 57 minutes.
We can end it right. Nah, we don't have to drag it out.
Yeah, that might be weird. But anyways, check out Andre's music.
Nice TV you got there.
Gonna be releasing some more music.
Yeah.
You've released some stuff. Just put out a record with Forestry Division not too long ago.
Yeah, we're gonna keep making music. James is having a baby, so we I don't know what we're gonna do. I don't know what that means for us, but I imagine he'll be able to sneak out and play a show here and there.
Hey, I've played in bands with people that have had kids, and you get through it.
They still exist.
Oh yeah,
are able to.
Okay. Yeah, it's a little hectic for a while, but you could pivot that energy into other things.
I feel like it's different if it's the mother or the father. The mother or the father, it seems like it's easier for them to slip away.
Sure. I mean, you just got to be...
My friend Sharon...
You got to be mindful of things.
She's 2 years of not playing. But maybe she will again soon.
Yeah. I mean, it's all about sometimes your priorities shift, and that's not even necessarily the result of having a child.
True.
Just things change.
Dude from the Clarks said that to me. He was like, man, you have a kid, everything changes.
Mm-hmm.
It's beautiful, man. Everything changes. And I'm like, what do you mean everything changes? He's like, everything. And I'm like,
so
doesn't sound great.
So he's no longer having fun looking out for number one? Is what you're telling me?
This is Rob, the guitarist. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Well, hey, things change. Anyways, that's been a podcast. Thanks for coming by, Andre. Hey, you know what this is. I'll be back again next week with another episode. Same time, same place, same channel. My name is Brian. Start the Beat is the podcast. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Take care of the people around you. Peace. And we did it. That was a podcast.
Yeah, nice, man. Thanks for having me.
You got it. Oh, and we're an hour 59 in 40 seconds.
You gonna run it out?
I'm gonna run it out.
All right, let's do it.
Yeah. at this point, people were just hanging out anyways, right?
Yeah.
What difference does it make?
10,
9, 8. It's like New Year's. 7, 6, 5, 4,
3, 2.
Happy New
Year.